On TV, I've news to become a serious problem on college campuses in July. Those live will have the details. Closer home.
5 temperatures home.
It's just about average when it comes to binging. Good evening, I'm Steve Ostrowski. Christy Herman will join me in a few minutes. John Postlewaite, Clarion University's Director of Alcohol and Drug Awareness Education and Training, said the college's numbers have been within a few percentage points of the nation's average. Postlewaite says that CU students learn to binge before they learn to be social drinkers. He believes the problem is that the universities are sent students who already know how to drink. It's just amplified by little or no parental supervision. According to a Harvard University study, 2 in every 5 students are binge drinkers, while 1 in 5 are frequent binge drinkers. Binge drinking is defined as having 4 drinks in a row for women and 5 for men. Frequent binge drinkers say they had binged 3 or more times in 2 weeks. Mother Nature's latest winter storm kept residents with one eye to the skies and another on roadways. How well was PennDOT prepared for the winter weather? Marcus Batakis has this report.
Get those shovels out because winter has hit the western Pennsylvania area again. PennDOT is ready to swing into full action to battle the storm.
The current weather conditions right now, the snow's slacked off, but we started yesterday afternoon with the anti-icing going out in the roadways and applying sodium chloride, which helped whenever the storm did come later on this morning.
Salt and other de-icing supplies make the road safe for us, but will there be enough supplies?
No, we have no problem with that. So far this winter we've used around 9,200 ton of salt and around 16,000 ton of antiskid, but on hand right now we still have around 2,500 ton of salt and we still have around 6,000 ton of antiskid, so we're okay for the rest of the winter.
The National Weather Service is predicting that more snow will be coming into the Clarion area in the next few days.
It could accumulate about an inch, maybe a little bit more, maybe up to 3 inches in some of the higher spots, but certainly not as much as across southern portions of Pennsylvania.
As Richard Kane of the National Weather Service said, snow did hit the southern areas. The city of Pittsburgh was hit hard, receiving a few inches. So why was Clarion spared from the storm? Well, it seems that there's been a weather traffic jam of storm systems in the Northeast.
However, this storm is pushing eastward right on the heels of the storm that went through the area a couple of days ago. Now, that storm is sitting up off the Canadian Maritimes and spinning out in the ocean, and it's actually blocking this storm, and it's actually forcing it a bit more south than it would normally go.
Well, we're going to have more snow. Jen Bevino will be in later to give you the extended forecast, and we want to thank Katie Kay for some of the video in that story. And coming up later in the show, we're going to hear my special report on how to stay healthy in this cold season. And Steve, I found out from PennDOT, they told me we're not going to have a lot of potholes this season, so keep your fingers crossed.
Excellent news, Mark. Is there a number people can call to get an update on road conditions?
Yes, there is. There is a specific number for interstates and highways in the state that would include I-80. You can call 1-888-783-6783. That number is on your screen now. And there is another number that you can call. It is for general road information. If you see something that needs to be fixed, if you see a pothole out there, because they told me there's not going to be any, and if you should see one, you can call this number, 1-800-FIX-ROAD or 1-800-349-7623.
All right, Mark, we'll keep our eyes peeled. Thank you. Christy?
A New Bethlehem man waived his rights to a hearing on Tuesday on charges he sexually assaulted a 15-year-old girl. 37-year-old Keith Trice is facing numerous charges, including statutory sexual assault, rape, and aggravated indecent assault. According to the Clarion County Sheriff's Department, Trice raped the girl after a Super Bowl party in Reimersburg on January 31st. Both the Sheriff's Department and the New Bethlehem Police have filed separate charges against Trice.
2 of Clarion County commissioners believe county officers seeking re-election should not use county time for campaigning. Sally Minnick told our newspaper exchange partner, the Clarion News, that she has not been campaigning on county time and feels it isn't professional to put a petition in front of someone who enters her office. Keith Martin agrees with Minnick, citing an incident that occurred during the 1996 election when Commissioner David Wagner participated in campaigns for Clarion County's Register Recorder Gregory Mortimer, who was seeking a seat in the State House of Representatives. According to the State Bureau of Elections, there is nothing illegal or improper about a county official campaigning for others, but the local election board can regulate campaigning by board members. You can read more about this story in tomorrow's Clarion News, along with these stories. The Clarion County Municipal Authority tables a discussion or action on a bond refinancing effort proposed by the county's Board of Commissioners. The North Clarion School Board has agreed to retain their athletic trainer, and State Representative Fred McElhatton announced his increased support for vocational education. Find out more about these stories tomorrow in the Clarion News.
Preliminary unemployment figures for Clarion County show almost 2% increase in January. According to the State Department of Labor and Industries office in Erie, the unemployment rate was 6.9% in January, up from 5.1% in December. Although the number is up, the January 1998 rate for the county was 7.8% statewide. The jobless rate is 4.9%, just 1/10 higher than the national rate. February's unemployment figures will be announced March 30th.
The death penalty will be sought against a 19-year-old charged with gunning down a police officer during a traffic stop. Timothy Williams was shot in the chest during his fatal confrontation with Kane police officer Stephen German back on February 20th. Williams was released from a Pittsburgh hospital on Monday and arraigned that night. Along with Williams, Coudersport residents Brian Lee Honey and Jason Trayer have been charged in the officer's death. Police allege that Honey stole the gun used in the shooting and sold it to Williams. Trayer supplied Williams with a beer hours before the shooting, police say.
State police arrested an Erie County man last night on charges he sexually abused 5 9-year-old girls last year. Police say that Martin Elmer Wickham of Lake City exposed himself, touched one victim, and paid some of the children to touch him between June and December of 1998. The victims knew Wickham through family members. He is in the Erie County prison on a $20,000 cash bond awaiting preliminary hearing March 18th.
The hearing continued today for the 15-year-old accused of gunning down a teacher in Edinburgh last year. An Erie County judge is trying to decide whether Andrew Wurst should be tried as an adult or a juvenile. A defense psychiatrist testified that Wurst should be tried as a juvenile because he would not get good treatment in an adult facility. According to a spokesman for the State Department of Corrections, if Wurst is convicted as an adult, he would go to a special prison unit for felons up to age 21 who committed serious crimes. A Beaver County woman isn't too optimistic about getting her child back after attending a custody hearing yesterday. Amanda Coley's infant son was given away for adoption without her permission. She asked a 3-judge panel to reverse an earlier order that terminates Coley's parental rights. That order freed her son William for adoption. After the hearing, Coley said she did not think the hearing went well for her, though the judges did not say when they would rule.
The defense team for millionaire John DuPont is asking a 3-judge Superior Court panel to grant him a new trial. DuPont was convicted of an Olympic-killing wrestler David Schultz in 1996. Lawyers for DuPont say that he deserves a new trial because the trial judge should not have allowed testimony about his alleged drug use. High-profile attorney Alan Dershowitz is leading DuPont's defense team. The no word has on the court's ruling. A plan to determine whether the police target minorities for traffic stops in Pennsylvania was the focus of the discussion in Harrisburg today. State Representative Harold James and members of the Pennsylvania Black Caucus were in attendance to discuss problems similar to the alleged targeting of racial minorities in police in New Jersey. After announcing a slew of job cuts last week, Keystone Financial